So I put my Procolored K13 Lite printer in vacation mode last week, and I'm just going to show you here. Let me turn. So as you can see, I cleaned out the ink bottles here, and these are just the tubes. These are just the tubes that go from the print carriage here. I've cleaned these out. If you have a look at the white one there, at the top of the motor, there's two wires here. They're connected to this wire. I've just got them temporarily taped together there. But it made removing this white ink container difficult because it was hardwired. So what I did, I found this plug. Let me just separate it. I found this plug. It was off an old security camera. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to attempt to connect it to these wires here. And I mean, it's low voltage, so I can't see it being an issue. Now, if you do this, you do so at your own risk. I'm not telling you to do it. But the reason I want to do it is because it'll make it easier to remove the white ink cartridge. When I cleaned this the other day, it was absolutely disgusting how much white crust was at the bottom here. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to disconnect these wires now, and I'm going to hook up this plug here. I'm going to solder these on here, so I'll be back in a second and I'll show you what I've done. Okay, so I've got that plug welded onto these wires here. I'm just going to show you what they look like. Obviously I didn't do a video, but anyways, I've got that soldered on there now. I don't know if I just said welded, but I mean soldered. And then this is the other end. So as you can see, I've soldered that onto that wire. So hopefully we'll see. I'm going to plug this in now. Let me just prop this bottle up. I'm going to plug this in now, and then I'm going to see if it works. I should be able to hear it. Anyways, let me get this phone in this holder. Okay. Right. Leave myself a little bit of room. Okay, so I'm going to just lift these tubes out of the way. I'm going to set this back in there. Alright. These here, I don't know, you know what I mean, I'll probably just stick them back in anyways, just so they're out of the way. Just got to remember, if you have a look on these tubes, you'll see a little piece of rubber. Obviously, those are the colours that go to the inks. So you got CMYK there. Okay, I'm just going to set them in. I'm not going to push them in. This tube here. This goes. This here. These tubes here. These go on the recirculation for the white ink. So all it does, it just pulls ink from the container and dumps it back in. It just stops it from setting up at the bottom of the container. Alright, so we're in there. So now when I plug this together, you should hear the pump start up. So I'm going to plug that in there. That makes it a lot easier to remove now. Next time I want to take that white ink container out, I'll just unplug that. A little bit stiff, but and then turn on power. That's just the printer. Okay, so that's working now. I don't know if you'll be able to see inside. I don't know if you'll be able to see inside there, but you'll see that small paddle rotating. That's the stirrer for the white ink. So obviously the wires are connected pretty good there, what I've just put in. And all I did the other day, I took off the dampers for the ink here, and I've just got the tubes dangling. What I did, let me just take the foam out of the holder. What I did the other day was all these lines here on the carriage, I just flushed them. I injected water through them and pushed it back into the ink containers here, so you'll see all the lines are clear. I did that because I'm not sure when I'm going to use this printer again, so I just don't want to screw anything up. I've got a container missing there. So all I did when I pushed that through, I just used plain water. Obviously I didn't run any water through the head. This literally goes from the old dampers like this, straight through the printer, through the carriage, and then straight back into the ink pots there. So you're not injecting no water into the heads. And you'll see it's doing a self clean here. Now for the self clean, I've got this container filled up with cleaning solution, and so it's drawing it up straight into the heads here. And then the bottom of that, the bottom of the head there, I forget the name of it, the cap station, there's a tube on there, and then that goes to this waste ink tank here. So as you can see, all it's doing, it's just recirculating. So what I do, I just grab this and dump it back in that container, because this is clean. So yeah, so that's what I do with that. And then that way it just keeps the heads moisturised. Because like I said, I don't know when I'm going to fire it up next. So that being said, let's tuck everything back in here, out of the way. Just got to make sure, there we go, nothing interferes. Perfect. So right now I've got literally no ink in the system. So then when I fire it up in a few weeks time, it should be like a brand new printer. I see a lot of people leaving ink in these things, and doesn't do them any favours whatsoever. It'll just screw up the printer. Alright, so that's that. Talk to you in a bit.